Okay, so we're going to look at finding percentages of numbers. Percentages means out of 100. So 1% is 1 divided by 100, or is whatever the number is divided by 100 multiplied by 1. You can think of it in terms of fractions that way. So if you have what is 1% of 475, so basically you want to go 475 divided by 100, and that will equal 4.75. Right? If you were asked what is 11% of 218, well, you'd find what is 1%, and that would be 218 divided by 100. That's equal to 2.18. And then if you find the 10%, which is 218 divided by 10 over 100. And you can cancel the zeros out, so that becomes 1/10. So 1/10 of 218 is 21.8. Okay? So you only need to find, there is another way you can do this, but this is the easiest way to do it, thinking in terms of simple fractions. Now, another way, when you get a fraction, when you get a percentage which you can turn into an easy fraction, so if we take the example 25% of 562, well, I know that 25% is 25 over 100, and that's also equal to 1/4. So you're asking for 1/4 of 562. Well, if I were you, I would go, I would divide 562 into smaller numbers. So we could divide it into 400, and then we could divide it into 160, and then we just have the 2. Okay, so we know that 1/4 of 400 is 100. We know 1/4 of 160 is 40. And 1/4 of 2, so if you take 2 wholes and you divide those into quarters, one quarter would be that and that. So those would make a half, because 2 quarters makes 1/2. So that would be 0.5. So the answer would be 140.5. Okay, and that's easier than dividing by 100 and then multiplying by dividing by 100 and then multiplying by 25.